Imagine this. You've worked for years to build a life in the United States. You've become a legal permanent resident. Maybe you've even earned your green card. You've paid your taxes, followed the rules, and you're on your way to becoming a U.S. citizen. But then you get a letter, not from your employer, not from your landlord, but from the U.S. government, and it says you didn't report something you didn't even know you had to report. And now because of that oversight, your citizenship application is delayed, or worse, it's denied. Or maybe you're a dual citizen born in another country but living here, contributing here, and suddenly you're told your foreign passport is no longer acceptable, that you could be breaking the law just by traveling home with it. If any of this sounds even a little familiar, or if you have dual citizenship, or you were applying for citizenship, or you're just trying to figure out how to stay in compliance with U.S. immigration law, then you need to listen to this, because what I'm about to tell you could change everything. This is not about politics. This is not about fear. This is about facts. This is about your rights, your future, your ability to stay, to work, to travel, and yes, your ability to become a U.S. citizen. And if you miss this information, if you don't act now, if you're not prepared for what's coming in 2026, you could be putting everything at risk. I'm James, your trusted immigration expert from Immigration News Today. And today we're talking about a major upcoming change that you need to know about right now: the 2026 dual citizenship reporting and passport rules. What they are, who they affect, why they matter, and what you need to do to protect your immigration status before it's too late. Now let's be clear from the start. Dual citizenship is not illegal in the United States. You can be a citizen of another country and still live here legally, work here, raise a family here, and even become a U.S. citizen. But what a lot of people don't realize is that the U.S. government still expects you to follow certain rules. Rules about disclosure, about travel, about documentation, and those rules are about to get a lot stricter. In 2026, new reporting requirements and passport regulations are expected to go into effect. Some proposed, some already in motion, and they could directly impact your immigration status, your ability to travel internationally, and even your path to citizenship. And if you're not aware of these changes, if you're not prepared, if you don't know what documents to file or what to say when asked, you could find yourself in a situation you never expected. One that could delay your green card, complicate your citizenship case, or even put you at risk of being denied entry to the United States. This is serious. This is urgent. And if you care about your future in this country, you need to pay close attention. Let's start with what we know so far. The U.S. government, through the Department of State and USCIS, has been quietly working on updates to how it handles dual citizenship, specifically when it comes to reporting foreign citizenship, foreign passports, and international travel. While dual citizenship itself is not prohibited, the U.S. does require that all citizens and permanent residents disclose any foreign allegiances, nationalities, or travel documents they hold. And starting in 2026, those disclosure rules are expected to become more strict, more detailed, and more closely monitored. That means if you have a foreign passport, if you've traveled back to your home country using it, if you haven't reported your dual status on your immigration forms, or if you're applying for citizenship and you haven't been fully transparent about your background, you could face serious consequences. Now, let's break this down into the key areas you need to understand so you know exactly what's changing, who's affected, and what you need to do to protect yourself. First, let's talk about reporting requirements for dual citizenship. Right now, when you apply for a green card, citizenship, or even certain types of visas, you're asked specific questions about whether you've ever held another nationality, whether you've ever pledged allegiance to another country, and whether you currently hold a foreign passport. These questions may seem simple or even unnecessary, but they are critically important. Under current USCIS policy, failing to disclose a foreign citizenship or a valid foreign passport can be considered misrepresentation or fraud, and that can lead to your application being denied, or worse, your green card or citizenship being revoked later. And here's the part that's changing. In 2026, USCIS and the State Department are expected to introduce new forms and stricter reporting rules that will require applicants to not only disclose their dual citizenship status, but also provide documentation proving when they obtained or renounced any foreign nationality. That means you may need to submit copies of your foreign passport, any naturalization or citizenship certificates from your home country, and proof of any steps you've taken to give up or retain dual status. And if you don't have those documents, if you've lost your foreign passport, if you're not sure whether you've officially renounced your other citizenship, then you need to start figuring that out now, because ignorance is not an excuse. Next, let's talk about foreign passports and international travel. Many dual citizens use their foreign passport to travel back to their home country. And in most cases, that's not a problem, as long as you also have a valid U.S. passport for re-entry into the United States. But here's what a lot of people don't know. If you're a U.S. citizen, the law requires you to enter and leave the United States using your U.S. passport only. You can use your foreign passport to leave your home country or to enter it. But when it comes to crossing U.S. borders, your American passport is mandatory. And if you're a green card holder or in the process of becoming a citizen, using your foreign passport the wrong way or failing to declare your dual status when traveling can raise red flags with Customs and Border Protection, CBP, and USCIS. In 2026, we're expecting stricter enforcement of these rules, including more frequent checks at airports, more detailed questioning about your travel history, and more scrutiny of your passport use. If you've used your foreign passport to enter or leave the U.S. without the proper documentation, or if you've traveled on a passport that you didn't disclose on your immigration forms, you could be flagged, delayed, or even denied entry. And if you're applying for citizenship, those travel records could come up during your interview. So if you're a dual citizen, you need to be very careful about how you travel, which passport you use, and how you document your trips. Now, let's talk about how this affects your green card and your citizenship application. If you're applying for a green card using Form I-485 or for naturalization using Form N-400, you're required to answer all questions truthfully, including those about your citizenship status, your travel history, and any foreign allegiances. If you fail to report a foreign passport, if you don't disclose that you've used it to travel, or if you hide the fact that you still consider yourself a citizen of another country, you're risking much more than just a delay. You're risking a denial of your application, an accusation of fraud, and even a permanent bar from entering or living in the United States. USCIS takes these questions seriously. They cross-check your answers with passport databases, travel records, and even social media. And in 2026, with the new reporting rules coming into play, the chances of those checks becoming even more thorough are extremely high. So, if you're in the middle of an immigration process right now, whether you're applying for a green card, renewing your status, or going for citizenship, you need to make sure that every single question on your forms is answered accurately and completely. If you're not sure how to answer a question about dual citizenship, or if you're unsure whether you need to disclose a foreign passport, you need to talk to an immigration attorney. Don't guess, don't assume, don't leave anything to chance. Let's talk about common mistakes that people make and how to avoid them. One of the most common mistakes we see is applicants assuming that because they were born in another country, they don't have to report their original citizenship if they've lived in the U.S. for years. Another mistake is thinking that a foreign passport is just a travel document, something harmless that doesn't need to be disclosed. But both of those assumptions can be dangerous. USCIS wants to know about all nationalities you've ever held, all passports you've ever used, and all travel you've ever done using those documents. And if you've ever used a foreign passport to enter or leave the U.S., or if you've ever voted in a foreign election, served in a foreign military, or taken an oath of allegiance to another NCRI, you need to disclose that because failing to do so can be considered a misrepresentation. Another mistake is waiting until the last minute to gather documents. If you know you have a foreign passport, or if you've used one to travel, start gathering those documents now. Make copies. Keep records of your travel dates. And if you've renounced your foreign citizenship, make sure you have the official paperwork to prove it. The more prepared you are, the smoother your application will go, and the less likely you are to run into problems with USCIS or CBP. Now, let's talk about what you can do to protect yourself starting today. First, if you have dual citizenship, review your immigration forms carefully. If you've already submitted applications, double-check that you answered all questions about foreign nationality, passports, and travel truthfully. If you're in the middle of an application, make sure you disclose everything, every passport, every trip, every nationality. Second, gather your documents. Get copies of your foreign passport, your naturalization or citizenship records from your home country, and any documents showing that you've renounced or given up another nationality if you have. Third, be careful about how you travel. If you're a U.S. citizen, always use your U.S. passport to enter and leave the United States. If you're a green card holder or dual citizen, make sure you're following the rules for re-entry and that you're not using your foreign passport in a way that could be misinterpreted. Fourth, track your case using USCIS case status online. If you've submitted an application, check your status regularly. If you haven't heard back in a while, follow up. Don't assume everything is fine just because you haven't received a denial. Fifth, respond to any USCIS notices immediately. If you get a request for evidence, RF, or a notice of intent to deny, don't ignore it. Respond on time with the correct documents. And finally, know when to get legal help. If you're unsure about your dual citizenship status, if you've made a mistake on a form, or if you're facing a denial or delay, consult an experienced immigration attorney. Don't try to handle complex immigration issues on your own. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. These new rules in 2026 are part of a larger trend we're seeing in U.S. immigration policy. A trend toward more scrutiny, more documentation, and more accountability. USCIS and the State Department are under increasing pressure to ensure that all applicants are fully transparent about their backgrounds, their allegiances, and their travel. And while these rules can feel overwhelming, they're not impossible to navigate if you know what to do, if you stay informed, and if you take the right steps. The key is to be proactive. Don't wait until you're in front of an immigration officer to figure out your status. Don't wait until your application is denied to realize you made a mistake. Start preparing now. Get your documents in order, understand your rights, and most importantly, stay informed. So, if you're watching this video and you're feeling overwhelmed or confused or just not sure what to do next, know that you're not alone. There are resources available. There are people who can help. And there's this channel, Immigration News Today, where we're committed to giving you the information, the guidance, and the truth you need to protect your immigration future and achieve the American dream. Before you go, if you found this video helpful, if you learned something new, if you're feeling more prepared or more informed, please do me a favor. Like this video, subscribe to Immigration News Today, turn on notifications so you never miss an update, and leave a comment below with your immigration questions or the topics you want us to cover next. Your feedback helps us create the content you need, and staying informed is the most powerful tool you have in protecting your immigration status and achieving your goals in this country. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next.